Today, I want to share with you the honest truth about what it's like to finally quit your 9 to 5 and go all in on freelancing. I first registered my business as a sole trader back in 2019. So it's been almost 7 full years since. And I can tell you it was hard. It was tumultuous. I went months without any income. And looking back to where I am now with the benefit of hindsight, every single stress, every single bit of uncertainty has been well worth it. Just because now I don't need to go check into a 9 to 5. I don't need to report to a boss. I can choose how much I charge. I can choose who I work with. I can choose to take any month of the year off. I went to Japan a month ago with my partner and I told all my clients and they were like, woohoo, go for it. We won't bother you, don't worry, but I can't wait to come back because we've got a lot of cool work going on. You will feel like you finally have autonomy. And in this day and age where work is limited, the economy is bad, and companies are doing layoffs left, right, and center, this could be the wisest decision you make for your career moving forward. And so today I'm going to be answering some of the most asked questions. For example, do I need a lot of savings to get started? When do I know if I'm ready? Am I even built for this? And how much can I actually make? All of these questions are critically important for you to know, and what I wish someone would have told me before I got started. So first of all, do you need a lot of runway savings before you dive all into freelancing? Like, how would I approach it if I restarted again? So I actually think my approach was textbook what I would recommend, just because I'm a really risk adverse person. When I started emptistudio, I was still literally in design school. I had a part-time job being a tutor and I was making side income from that. I was living at home with my mum, so I didn't have to pay rent. I didn't have to buy groceries. My only expense was on the weekends. If I was going out with friends or going out with my boyfriend, then I would be spending my own money. But I had barely much expenses. So I registered a business name and I started taking on just random projects. Wasn't even looking for. My first client came to me because he was a real estate agent and I started doing like $100 flyers for him. And then he started referring me to some of his other real estate friends. So that is why I registered my business in the first place, was in response to a demand. And then what happened was I went month and month on end without any clients, but that's okay because in this time, I was looking for internships. I was actually thinking about working in a studio first and maybe keeping freelancing on the side. If work comes to me, it comes to me. I won't turn it down. But I didn't know about like active outreach or cold outreach or like building out your own client roster. I didn't know any of that. So I was like, that's just fun on the side. If work comes to me, I have this business entity that I can, send out invoices and I just have this side gig. But what I realized is that was actually the optimal kind of situation for me to put all sense of fear aside because I didn't expect much to come out from it. And it wasn't until I did that internship, which turned into a part-time role, which turned into a potential full-time role, that I realized I hated my life when I was working at a studio. There was an amazing company, but it just wasn't the right fit. And I found myself dreading to go into work every day. I didn't really think I was well suited to the type of work I was doing. And so that just casted this gray shadow over the top of my head. And this was a divine timing where my boss said, okay, Annie, like you're doing really well, but I can tell you probably prefer other types of work. And that was true. Like I want to do branding and website. So I denied the full-time role. I said, I'm just going to focus on my second degree. So I actually studied a Bachelor of Visual Communication, which is design. And I also studied a Bachelor of Creative Intelligence and Innovation, which is just like this really cool, honestly, like entrepreneurial startup-y degree that teaches you creative thinking, out-of-the-box thinking, things like that. Very entrepreneurial. And he was like, that's totally fine. I get it. I kind of saw this coming. But since you're into branding and website design, I have a friend from uni who is starting his own business. And that studio, my boss's studio, he said, we're too expensive for them. So do you want to try take it on as a freelance project? So he introed us. And then that became the client that changed everything for me, because that was when I was like, okay, they are a real business and I want to treat this as if I was an actual like design agency. So I created templates for myself. I had a brand strategy session with them. I literally did a course on brand strategy the night before. And I think I went in just not knowing what to expect. And it ended up being, the company was a lot bigger and established than I thought. Like my boss literally said they're just starting out, but no, they had like, I think like 20, 30 employees already. And they had like a full-on office and they had a boardroom. They had like CEOs, COOs, CFOs, CMOs. And I had a meeting with all of them and I facilitated a brand strategy session. So what I want to say is the best runway you can have is as long as possible. It's not going all in on freelancing straight away. It is having a part-time job. It is, having a full-time job. I'm doing this on the side. And then this way you can try to facilitate each project to be a dream project. You can say no to tiny projects that's draining you, and you can do outreach actively to find those dream clients. And once you find that one, perfect ideal client, everything changes. Because that first client, I charged them $15,000 for branding alone and gave them 3 different options. The base option was like 6,000, 10,000, or maybe 8,000, and then a big one. And they chose the big one. They were like, yeah, we need it all. We are growing very fast. We need our branding to be on par. And then afterwards, we're going to do a website as well. So I was like, oh my God, okay, all right. This is like 3 months worth of salary for me. So then suddenly I was like, if only I had like another one of these clients, that would be perfect. And the good thing about working with other entrepreneurs is sometimes you find a serial entrepreneur. And so this company, they actually were serial entrepreneurs. They had 7 brands in total that I worked on for the next 2 years with them. So straight away, I didn't need to find another job. Like that was how I started full time with them. And then when you have great clients and they work really hard to get their name out there. And then what I do is I just have it designed by Emptistudio on the bottom of their website footer. So when they're going out there promoting themselves, doing marketing, people are checking out the website and be like, damn, like this website is really good. They go into the footer because everyone knows the credits are there and it says designed by emptistudio. And then they click that link, they come onto my website and they book a call with me. And that is that virtuous cycle. And not to mention that the CEO who referred to me and the COO who I work with, they are really cool people and they take pride in sharing about the people in their network. So when another business partner is like, you guys have really good branding now. I remember what it looked like before. Like, who did it? And like, oh yeah, this girl, Annie, she did it. Like, this is her website. And then they make a connection. And that is how I've been able to get all the same type of high ticket ideal clients ever since. And all that started was this kind of blind ambition and deluluness, which was given to me because I didn't put myself in a circumstance where I needed to make money from it. And that allowed me to just build my skills and say no to different projects and say yes to the right ones. And the next thing is, how do you know if you're actually ready? This kind of ties into the last question, is you don't need to be actually ready. Just do this on the side, have part-time income. I think a lot of times money is the thing that holds people back. But what you need to know is the biggest risk is not getting started. The second biggest risk is stopping. So all you need to do is start on this freelance gig, know what type of client you're looking for, reach out to the correct type of clients, and then go from there, build your skills with every single project you go. And then eventually you have a sustainable amount of clients. And what you're going to do is you're going to put them on recurring retainers, monthly retainers, which is the secret sauce to my whole business model. And this way you pretty much have like half a salary from every single client paying you a couple $1,000s. And this is a lot to cover. So I have so many videos like literally dedicated to this topic. But essentially, if you want to have the A to Z breakdown, you can join me on my 10K month masterclass, which I host as a live session to walk you through the exact granular nuances of how to get started freelancing from 0 to 10K months. It is literally my business model, and I help freelancers kind of navigate that roadmap to show you exactly what to do. We have templates for invoices, for sales decks, pitch decks. What do you do? What is that first conversation? How do you structure your website? We have website templates, all of that. But bringing it back to this idea of quitting your 9-to-5 job, start with your 9-to-5 job until you have a safety buffer. So what it's going to realistically look like in terms of timeline is you have a full-time job. If you are financially okay, go to a part-time job. And then this way you're spending 50% of the time on your freelance work, doing outreach, working on the skills, building a portfolio website, and then 50% of work making money. And then you're making more and more money on your freelance career. So then you do less and less of your part-time work. And then at one point it's going to be able to sustain you. And then you quit every single other engagement and focus on freelance, which is now your full-time gig. So join me in that session, scan the QR code here. I'm going to show you how you go from 0 to 10K month sustainably in your freelance business. At the end of the day, I think my biggest takeaway from this whole process is it doesn't need to be risky. It doesn't need to feel scary, and you don't need to quit cold turkey. Treat it as long-term vision, like stretch it out. You don't need to go full-time within 6 months or like straight away, because the thing is, I just don't want you to quit. I just don't want you to go like, oh, this is too hard for me. I'm not making any money. I'm literally going to 0 on my bank account. I'm going to go find a full-time job and I'm not going to bother with this anymore. That is the biggest risk. I think the biggest thing to conquer that fear of instability is understanding the process and the roadmap afterwards, and to learn from people who's been there before. And if you want to look for more content like that, this video on the left right here literally covers that roadmap for you. So go check it out on the left here. If you prefer listening on the go, we also have a podcast version called the Brand Creator Podcast. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.